Welcome back to another Rockford UFS deck upgrade series. I am your dad, Chris Smith, and I'm joined with this man right here next to me, Justen Pardo, out of the Schaumburg area. He is kind enough to lend his expertise in doing some more of a budget type deck for like his locals are more like a casual group right now. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit more, maybe talk about your history a bit, and maybe just tell the good people about what you're doing out in Schaumburg before we jump into the deck.
Sure. Hello, Justin here. I've been playing since 2006, shortly after the Penny Arcade came out, kind of on and off during the Fantasy Flight era when cards were ridiculous. And then picked it back up as soon as I saw Jasco at Gen Con, I think, 5, almost 6 years ago now? It's maybe even longer. I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah, we're kind of growing the community really slowly in Schaumburg. I only have every other weekend really available to host it. But there's a new group that just popped up in Chicago, actually, and I was talking with one of the guys, Eric. So we're going to try and get every week going.
Cool.
But it'll be, casual type standard events every week in Schaumburg.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the area, stop by. We start at 1 o'clock. I usually show up there around noon and usually done by 5.
What store? Because you didn't say what store.
Oh, yes. The Gaming Goat in Schaumburg.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so with the deck upgrade series, I'll give a brief overview if you haven't seen the other 2 videos. What we do is I task one of the good people in the community to build a deck using one of the turbo decks. So if someone bought a turbo deck and they'd want to play it at a locals, you can't technically play a turbo deck at a local because it's not standard legal. So what they do is they'll add in cards from the other sets, booster sets, other starter decks to make the deck at least standard legal and locally competitive based. So it's you can't to a local, you may win. You may win the tournament, you may not, but you'll have some fun and win some games and you'll learn. So this is pretty much the next step from a turbo deck to standard deck and then up to a Worlds or Nationals type style deck. So let's start off with character, Justin. So who'd you get?
I got Chun-Li, Thunder Thighs. She's got Air, Earth, Life, 7 hand size, 20 vitality. 2 enhances. The top one is enhance. Your kick attack gets +1 speed. If it deals damage, gain 1 vitality. And then enhance commit. Discard a kick or a range attack from your card pool. Your kick or range attack gets +2 speed. So she'll be making things real fast and then have kind of a little trick to kick a card out and keep progressive a little lower.
Do you think that she suffers from the not as good as Felicia syndrome?
I feel like they're a little different.
Yep.
Because Felicia to me is mostly just aggro, and you're trying to get in there, put a lot of speed on stuff, and utilize your momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Chun-Li has the ability to extend games out a little longer, especially because she has the life symbol, and life's really good at not dying.
Yeah, that's also true.
Kind of what they do.
Yeah.
So you still get to play sort of an aggressive character, but if you're having trouble getting the kill, you're gaining life as you're getting attacks to connect and keeping yourself further away from death.
Yep. Okay. So let's move into the attacks.
Yep. So first off, we have 4 Cat Spike. Now this one's really good because it's going to combo with United Against Terrorism, which we'll go into later. But Cat Spike is a 4 difficulty, 3 high for 5. It's got a good +1 low block, so just well statted. Checks a 3. Has that important kick keyword, so we can do stuff with it with Chun-Li. And has the enhance for if the stack deals damage, next time you play a foundation this turn, add it to your staging area. So if you feel like you might need a couple more resources, or there's a foundation that you really want to get into play that turn in your hand, Cat Spike can be a really nice way to kind of start off on the aggressive and maybe cheat in a card during the combat phase that your opponent didn't expect to deal with.
Okay.
So Cat Spikes are a really good one here. And the theme that I really went with here was card pool manipulation. So you're going to be kicking stuff out of your card pool to keep it as clean as possible so that your attacks are easier to pass in your chain.
If I remember, that's one of your favorite types of mechanics. So that's pretty cool.
Back, I think the last time I really played an aggressive version of a character that's similar would be Ash. Well, I played Sagat for a while, and he's really good. But when I was playing Ash 1. That was the money, man. Super fun. But that was when Chasm Buster. We're not going there.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, I have one Delta Kick, and this one I have in here in case you need something to finish it out. It's not something that you're going to want to play a lot of, but it's a nice to have so that can gain powerful 2, and you can feel yourself some momentum off that top E.
Mm-hmm.
And again, pretty average stats. 5 diff, checks a 3, 4 high for 5. Just all around good card and can help seal the deal with that powerful.
Yeah, Chun-Li makes that a 5 high 5, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just right off the bat, 5 high 5, or if you led with a cat spike, cheated in the foundation, you can play your Delta Kick, Chun-Li, push it down, and make it a 7 high for however much momentum you have, plus 5 damage.
That's pretty good.
So
pretty good.
Not bad. And then here's the fun ones. All Chun-Li's effects. It's the Hyakuretsu Gyaku. And
that's a good one.
I have this one. Yeah, thank you. I practice. I had this one at a 2, and it's kind of a utility attack in this deck because it's got stun 2, so it's a great opener. It's got above average damage but lower speed. But it has 2 options to lose 2 or 4 speed. Or sorry. To lose 2 or 4 damage to gain 2 or 4 speed. So it's kind of at the player's discretion if you have an on deals damage type effect. You really want to go off and you're not concerned about the dealing damage on that first attack. You can just reduce it down to 3 damage and start it off at 6 speed and then Chun-Li it up to 7 and it goes higher and higher from there. But just the opening with stun and the potential to be a lot of damage or secure on damage effects is what makes this really good. I only have 2 though because it doesn't have a block, and there's already 1 Delta Kick, and I'm trying to keep 5 difficulties low, so you can play more attacks because it's more fun to throw lots of attacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's one other one that's maybe a little better. That's 5 or more, and that's the next attack, which is Kikasha, and we have that at 2. Now, this is, I think, the only non-kick attack, but it's ranged, so you can still get the other effect, the bottom enhance for Chun-Li to kick it out of the card pool. But this is just an amazing card. I mean, unfortunately, it's only a 1-of in the starter or the turbo decks, so you'll have to pick up 2 of those to at least get this, or trade from a friend. But it's 6 difficulty, 3 check, 3 mid for 6. But the reason we play this is the top static abilities. If this attack, or if your last attack this turn was blocked, this attack is -3 difficulty and +3 speed.
Yep.
So this can be a huge string ender, even though it's got a base 3. If your opponent blocks and they thought that they were safe, you can drop this on only a 3 difficulty plus your progressive, bump it up to 6 speed, and it has another enhance that you can kick another card out of your card pool into your momentum, so you could possibly fuel your Hyakuretsu Gyaku and give that powerful. As well as, if you get that speed up to 6, you can ready one of your foundations.
Yep.
So extend your turns or get additional uses out of your commit abilities.
Yeah.
And then we have Serencho. Or I don't know if she says it like that.
I don't know. It's okay. I applaud the effort.
I'm trying. But Serenshu's just another really good value attack that's deceptively dangerous.
Yes.
4 difficulty, 3 check. It's got a good +2 low. Low is really well covered in this deck for your block zones. 4 high for 4, so it's already on par with its stats for its cost and its control check. It's got kick, combo kick. And that's where it gets dangerous, is if it combos off of a kick, you get 3 additional damage. So if you go all in with both of Chun-Li's abilities and get the combo off, this is a 7 high for 7. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
In addition to, you can unflip some of your flipped foundations by reducing the damage to 0. So it's not only dangerous, but it has utility as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Denko Kyaku, which is it's just fun.
It's cool, dude. I like it.
This one we have at 2 copies because it doesn't have a damage pump on it, but this falls into the utility again. It's kick, combo, kick, and the combo abilities. You can flip one of your opponent's foundations, which is good for controlling and shutting down problem pieces on their board. And if you can get get the speed up to 6 or more, your opponent clears their momentum. So if your opponent was trying to poke a turn before with a throw, or 1 or 2 attacks for momentum, was trying to kill you the following turn, and if you can get that read on them, you can play Tenku Kyaku off the combo ability and kind of reset them and make them work a little harder to get the momentum back.
About that card, last week at locals, I was playing Faye, which was I was looping Black Dog Fangs with her. And in finals, Jake was playing his jury deck, and he played this on his turn, obviously, and he got his speed up to 6, and I had like 5 momentum stocked for my kill for the next turn. Yeah, there was no looping Black Dog Fangs the following turn. It was not cool.
Got dunked.
I got dunked on. It was sad. I cried.
Well, tell Jake next time he gets when he gets the big wham bam and clears out a bunch of momentum, you got Tenku Kyaku.
Yeah, you gotta yell that. You gotta yell that.
I'd be proud. And our last attack slot we have here is 3 copies of Stretch Kick. Now this is a really good high block, +1 high. Same thing as most of your attacks here, 4 difficulty, 3 check. And this one attacks low, which most of the attacks are attacking high. So this is kind of a mix-up where your opponent might be expecting you to throw a lot of highs, or they might have seen a Kokoshu. So they may not see the low attack coming. So this can take them off guard. But it's got 2 really nice abilities. The first one is if this attack has received speed and damage, it gets +2/+2. So it goes base 6/6 and then Chun-Li it to 7. So again, the theme is just scary. Fast and it's going to hurt. Yeah. I'm sorry, not itself, but the next attack.
Yep.
So you can chain these together. As I was saying, if you stretch kick into a stretch kick, they just kind of feed off each other and keep the combo going with minimal effort. And then you have a deadlock ability, which happens quite a bit now because there's a lot of really good wall decks out there. But deadlock enhance, your opponent loses 2. So if they're really walled up, maybe they'll just burn themselves out.
I lost to that in game 2. I blocked wrong, went to 1. He played that, decided to do a bunch of damage pumps, and I'm like, okay. And then he goes, oh yeah, I'll deadlock EU for game. I'm like, awesome, cool, okay, go to game 3. And then we just drew. So, but yeah, that card's really good. That card's scary, especially like I see some of the foundations you have in the deck are able to put that speed and damage bonus to net that +2/+2. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and move on to those foundations. You got 42 foundations in the deck. Let me get the difficulty up, and then we can go through it. Go ahead and rattle off your deck.
All right, so I'll also sort by difficulty. We'll just go down top to bottom here.
Cool.
I have 3 copies of Push the Limit. This is just a spam card. It's got a good block on it. You play it early if you're going second, or honestly, anytime you play it, your opponent has to flip something. So unless they're playing for that theme, you're going to be shutting some stuff off.
Yep.
I have 2 copies of Forgotten. And this was, again, I needed a little more spam, and my block zones were really well covered, so I didn't mind the non-block. But a little extra speed control, just commit -2 speed, keep you alive. I have a couple of other ways to reduce speed on a reaction, so having different timings is good to have more options. Then we have 2 copies of Agile, and this is actually one of my favorite cards that came out of the Darkstalkers set in the Felicia deck, and now available in Platinum in super cool foil.
Yeah, you're right.
And they look great. It's not a lie. But it's just a good spam card, and the response card pool, commit a foundation after you play it at your staging area. Now, this is super useful for a number of reasons. One is you can build during your own turn, so if you need more foundations to pass, long attack strings, that can help. 2 is on defense, you can block with it and then pull it down and keep your card pool clean. So you can avoid any abilities your opponent might have to jam your card pool and kind of reduce the damage there. But also, it helps trigger a couple of other cards, and we're going to hit those in a few minutes here. So we'll keep moving on. Next, we have 3 Cage Fighter, more spam, good high block, and this is what may help you early on stay alive longer as a 7-hander. If you time this properly and hack your opponent's check, and if you have several copies out, it's even better. You can buy yourself time and setup. So if someone's trying to go ham on you on 2 and you make a smart play and you read that they're trying to play a bunch of attacks, you might wait until their 3rd, 4th attack and just basically make them fail it.
Yeah.
If things aren't going their way anyways with their foundations. Cage Fighter is probably one of the better spam to come out of Street Fighter. Actually, I really like that card. Then we have 1 Built for Speed. Another spam. It's got a 6 check, which is bonus. High block, which is always good. And this one is nice to get some extra speed on stuff. For response, destroy foundation after you play an attack, it gets +1 speed. And this also triggers some other cards, one of which being the next card on the list, Bridging the Races. We have this at 4 copies because it is amazing.
Yes, it is. It is fantastic.
It's a 1/4 spam, so the 4 checks kind of but there's very few 4 checks in the deck, so we're not going to worry too much. It's got an above average block, which is good, but it has 2 abilities. The top one is Commit Your Punch, Kick, or Slam attack. It's +1 speed and damage, and that's going to apply to every attack except for Kikosho in this deck. So you have a lot of ways to get that +1/+1, and this is also a good enabler for Stretch Kick. Because as long as it gets 1 damage and 1 speed, you can play the Stretch Kick enhance and give your next attack a pump. But the other ability is what we've really focused on here is the response. Is once per turn, after a card enters or leaves your staging area during the combat phase, you can ready this foundation, play while committed. So we have a ton of cards in here that's going to re-ready this for us. So Built for Speed, you play something, destroy a foundation that's committed, you can ready something else. You can ready Bridging the Races. Same thing with Agile. You play Agile into your card pool, you pull it down, you ready Bridging the Races. So good both on defense and offense to free up some more resources for past checks. And then we have 3 copies of Artifice Avarice, so we're moving outside of our spam now. And Artifice Avarice is just a good card. 2/5 +3 high block. The static for after you check it, draw a card, and then commit your order attack gets +2 speed. We're not really going to be able to use that enhance, but that's really not why we're playing it. We're gonna play it into our staging area if we need it, but we're just gonna honestly hope we just check it or hold it for blocks. Because it doesn't do much in our staging area. But if you do build it, you can still destroy it with Built for Speed and actually make it be useful, during your turn. And then we're coming across the first rare in the deck, actually, if you're not counting Kosho being a one-of in the turbo, is Stronger Than All. Now, I only have it at 1 because this was a minor turbo upgrade. We're not trying to go crazy. And I think this card's only $2, about 50 or something like that. It's not very expensive, but it's really, really good. Enhance, destroy this attack. Return this attack to its printed damage. This attack gets -1. So right out the gate, you can reset multiples to nothing, because they have printed nothing. It's a blank card. So Stronger Than All is really going to help you for countering multiples, or there's, tons of Allurophobia and Punch Judy decks that they put it to 40, 50 damage. Well, how about printed -1? It's at 1 damage. You got me, bro.
That Allurophobia becomes a 1. That's awesome.
I ain't afraid of no cats.
Nope.
But yeah, Stronger Than All is something that I like to sneak into a lot of decks, usually at 1 or 2 copies. But it doesn't hurt to play more if you're trying to play a slower or a tempo type deck. Next on the list, we have 2 Emperor of Muay Thai. I actually like this one a lot because there's a lot of coffee samba going on and a lot of stun attacks, ISSP. There's just a lot of quality stun attacks. So this helps counteract that by flipping it after you commit something due to your opponent's effect. You can ready 2 foundations that have not been readied, which is also the sub theme, I guess, is readying things. First and foremost, we're trying to clear our card pool and keep it clean, and second, we get to ready a lot of cards. So you're in a lot of interactions, and it'll take a while to get used to as a new player if you're just straight upgrading and haven't played the game much. But it's gonna teach you to be a little more aware of your board state and say, okay, I have this many foundations ready. This is how many I think I'm going to need. I'm accounting for errors for my opponent's stun abilities or committal effects. So it helps you keep your resources on the plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and because it flips, it doesn't commit. Yeah. It still stays as a ready foundation.
Yeah, so. It's very relevant right now in the Bebop meta. It's just super relevant because Jet has like stun 10 cards and you get all those like you said, Coffee Samba, ISSP. It's just dumb. And there's a lot of target committal out there too. Like a couple of the champ cards have it, and then like Yamato Man himself commits one card. It's like, oh well, they have to target this because but then you could, I don't know, that's a problem card for decks that want to have a lot of target committal or stun in general. I hate seeing that card on my opponent's side of the board.
Well, the nice thing about it too is that even if your opponent overstuns you and completely commits you out, save for Emperor Buitai, if they're one short, you can bring yourself back up to 3 ready resources.
Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately, you can't play it while committed. It'd be super duper good at that point. But if you're playing smart and not overcommitting on your attack turn, you can be in a pretty good spot on defense.
Heaven forbid that you attack and you stun into someone who can chain those. Like I've had people chain Emperor Muay Thai against me, and it's not awesome. It feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's going for spamming stun, like stun 1 or 2 on every attack, if you have several copies out, you're like, okay, I'll stun some things and I'll ready 4.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Next, we have Despise All Evil at 1. And this is one of my other favorite cards from Street Fighter because it's basically Young Mercenary, which was from the King of Fighters set, which just helps you kind of go in on your turn. If your opponent's got a pretty big board, this helps you to help lock that down. The top enhance is really what we're playing it for, which is your turn, destroy committed foundation. Your opponent commits 1 card in their staging area. So after you've, let's say, committed, you're bridging the race, you ready it through some effect by adding a card to your card pool, you commit it again, you can't ready it again. You can only ready a card once per turn. So that's when Despise All Evil becomes really good, where you can just blow it up and make your opponent commit a foundation. Commit a card. So it can actually commit their character too if they so choose, or if they run out of cards to commit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the bottom enhance is neat. Destroy checks cannot be modified for us to turn. If you're playing against Breaker heavy, could be relevant.
I don't even think that would touch Breaker because Breaker hits difficulty, not checks. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, never mind.
That's all right. No, was it Gyro Drive Smasher modifies check?
Right.
And there may be one other to. It's a very very niche type ability. You play this card for the top ability. The top ability's dumb. It's just it's super good.
Well, actually, what is it? There's that Fey card that deadlock your next attack at +5.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, that's a relevant one now too, because Church killed Garrett Brett with chaining those, so it was pretty funny on turn 2. It was pretty hilarious. Or turn 2 or 3, I forget. Garrett had built a huge wall by turn 3, and he just laid out a bunch of attacks. Yeah, yep,
wonderful.
You gotta love it.
But we only have that at 1 copy because you typically don't need more than 1.
Yeah.
So you don't want to muddy the deck up with too much stuff. I mean, there is a lot of tech cards in here, but that's kind of by design to also teach players how to make use of 1-ofs or 2-ofs. Not just running 4 copies of everything in every deck.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have 1 copy of Mind Becomes Flame. Only real purpose here, the main purpose here is the top enhance, which is destroy reduces throw to 0.
Mm-hmm.
You are still a 7-hander, and throws still can kill you even if you block really well. So this is going to help keep you alive on those slow, big damage throws. And you can also use the bottom enhance if you have no other way to pump one of your stretch kicks. It gets the damage on there.
Yep.
So you can get that enhance rolling. Then we have 3 copies of Strongest Woman in the World. Slightly better than average block modifier. You get both enhances because you are Chun-Li. And the top one is putting a little bit of extra damage on your attacks, and again, enabling you to play the enhance on stretch kick.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bottom enhance, if you're Chun-Li, commit flip, your kick attack's speed, or if your kick attack's speed is 6 or greater, gets 4 damage. That shouldn't be hard. You have a lot of ways to get speed.
Yeah.
And if you just need to close something out, 4 damage is better than 2.
Yep.
What do we got? 1 personal tragedy. I put this in here for another 6 check, and also to fix bad blocking situations.
Sure.
So you can change the attack to low. It's not really intended to get full use out of the -1 damage if it's not a kick, but you do have a lot of good low blocks, like Cat Spike we're running 4 copies of, and it's a +1 low. What's the other one? I think Senenshu. Yeah, Senenshu is a +2 low.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of good targets. Stretch Kick is another. Oh no, Stretch Kick's a high. Never mind, it's not low attack.
You got Push the Limit. It's a +3, but it's still low. Most low attacks are slow anyway, so that one's not bad. And I want to say United Against Terrorism has a low block too, so that card's coming up. So, yeah.
And it also combos with Ophidiophobia, which goes in late. If you change to late, you can still block with the mid and take no damage.
Yep.
Then we have 4 copies of United Against Terrorism. This card is insane. 2/5 +3 low block. Response flip after a card leaves your card pool due to an effect. Ready 1 foundation that has not been ready this combat phase. Just be aware that some things are costs that clear your card pool.
Yep.
I think everything in here is an effect, so you shouldn't have to worry too much. But this is just another way to, you flip it over, you keep it as a ready resource. Fun fact is, if it has been readied already this turn and you flip it, it loses its identity. So you can actually commit it and ready it again through another United Against Terrorism. So you can get some really nutty ready, re-ready shenanigans going here.
Yep. Trent had this in his base deck, and then we told him bases enhance is a cost. It's not an effect. He got sad and gave us the crying face.
Yeah, if it worked on cost or effect, this would be in so many more decks.
Gosh, heck yeah! I'm surprised this card isn't in more decks, because a lot of decks do play cards that pitch for cost. I guess a life like life spike 2. If he needs to ready stuff, that would work because he pitches stuff for free. Sagat off of air. Is that cost?
Yeah, I think it's a cost because
it's commit him and then pitch 2, right?
Yeah,
commits the cost.
He's got that one, but his other abilities on his attacks and stuff, that's all cost.
Yeah. At least you can get the committal one with him if you want it. So. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can still get use out of it that way because he always has that ready to go.
Yeah, that card's really good. I'm surprised it hasn't been seen in more tournament play. Maybe because the symbol spread, maybe at the moment, but
Well. It might be that, I like to play kind of fun, gimmicky decks and touch a lot of cards, just move around and ready stuff, unready it, flip it, unflip it, just do a bunch of stuff. Because it's more fun than just, I'm going to play a big attack, check my 5, enhance, give it damage and speed. All right, next attack, can I check a 5, commit 1, speed and damage, This is going to give you more to do, and it'll make you think. Oh, yeah,
definitely.
I think that you'll get a more gratifying gameplay out of it.
Because also defensively, it's really good. Like if you clear an agile, and you get to ready something. Like let's say they committed like a high seas, or they committed an Ophidiophobia that you need. You can just boop and ready it. It's great.
Nope. Yeah, that's a great card. That's kind of what I built the deck around. I saw this card and I was like, oh man, there's so many cool cards that leave the card pool.
Yeah.
I'm running max copies.
Oh, no, I don't blame you.
Next, we have 2 copies of Pulled to Magigan. This is just a really versatile card. It's got no block, but it's 2/5. Once per turn, you can just peek at the top of your deck. So if you're going ham and you're worried about making that next check, you can find out what it's going to be, which is really nice. Or if you have draw effects, or if you want to see if you get a peek and see that, this is an Artifice Avarice on top, you're going to draw a card. So a lot of good use out of it there, and it's usable defensively, which is great. And then the Desperation response, remove it after opponent plays an attack, add it to their hand. This is probably one of the better defensive cards that Air has access to for just jamming attacks, really.
Yeah.
I mean, your opponent commits out to play a big old coffee samba or like a Yamato spear, something really dangerous, and you just tell them, try it again.
Yeah.
Pick it up, try it again, and hopefully, again, it comes down to timing, but hopefully you timed it right, and they can't reasonably play it again.
Mm-hmm.
So should save your life.
Yep.
Then we have 3 copies of Ophidiophobia, 2/5 plus 3 low, enhanced flip. If this attack is blocked, it deals no damage. So that's going to pair with our Forgotten, so we can reduce speed, make it easy to block. Just the nature of re-readying a bunch of cards, so you can pass checks to block if you don't have speed reduction. Just a really nice card that you can get extra uses out of with the Tenkukyaku sorry, not Tenkukyaku, the Senenshu, is that one, right?
Yeah, Senenshu.
Yes, Senenshu, you can unflip it. So if you're thinking that you can't kill your opponent, you'd rather just set up for defense, you can play Senenshu, unflip it, and ready to go for the next turn.
Yep.
And it, like I said, I think I mentioned it combos with Personal Tragedy. So if you don't have a low block, you only have a mid, you can make a high attack a low or something like that, or whatever, and partially block it and still get no damage. And then we have one copy. One copy. I'm good at this.
You're
English
awesome.
is so very hard to speak. So sorry. It's the first time in English. Feral's a really great card to pull one copy of because it is unique. And you don't necessarily need it. It's a great card to have, but you don't. This isn't like a linchpin in your deck.
Yeah.
But if you have it out and your opponent's not targeting it to commit it or whatever, the top enhance can give you free speed on pretty much every attack except for your Kikosho. So just more speed. Never a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then going into your opponent's turn, you can commit it. As long as you play an attack, draw a card, have more block cards in hand.
Yep.
And then you can probably ready it in some fashion, maybe against terrorism and just keep it as an open resource. So don't need more than one copy, but if you like it enough, I could see running 2.
Mm-hmm. I think the only turn that card's actually dead is turn 1 when you play it. And then, because usually you're attacking more often than not after turn 1, so you're always going to net that 8th card at the end of your turn.
Right, and I mean, if you can cheat it into play with Cat Spike, Cat Spike, play this, comes down, and surprise, everything's faster now. We're ready for that.
Yep.
So,
no, I agree.
Really good.
Yeah, and it's the second rare, I believe. Yeah.
That's the second rare.
Second
one
rare.
Copy of Feral. It's a platinum rare, so it should be a little easier to get.
Super easy. It used to be a box topper, but this is so much easier to get now as a platinum rare. Super easy.
And now it's shiny.
They're all shiny. It's awesome.
Oh, this. Next, 3 copies of Dust in the Wind. This is kind of on Air, Life, and Void, one of the best go-to speed hate cards. Your opponent wants to speed pump, you just tell them to screw themselves because you just reversed it.
Yep.
There's a lot of fast decks out there right now. I mean, you played Yamato Man, and Yamato Man put tons of speed on everything. So this will definitely keep you alive. And the flip cost, you can unflip it with Senenshu.
No, it's just a commit. It's just a commit cost. There's no flip on it.
I'm sorry. Commit.
It's okay. It's all right, man.
That's why we're here.
It's your first time speaking English, man. It's all good.
And then we're moving on to the last 2 cards, which are our only 2 3 difficulties. So this is our third rare. Third and last rare in the deck is High Seas Venture.
Mm-hmm.
The 3/4 no block. Response remove. After an attack is played, it gets flash. Kind of in the same vein of Majigan, where if you don't want your opponent to play some abilities, you can either Majigan, make it come up to their hand and they can't play it again, or High Seas Adventure and just give it flash and go straight to the block step. They can't even play the dangerous multiple or what have you.
Yep.
Just sideswipe the problem, or sidestep rather the problem from the beginning. And then finally our last card, To Avenge a Loved One. This is another one of in the Turbo Chun-Li deck. 3/4 no block, unique. Enhance remove if the speed or damage of your opponent's attack is above 6, reduce it to 0. Pretty straightforward. It's going to keep you alive when your opponent slings something really big and nasty at you. Hopefully they're busy committing other things to stop this, but you have a fair number of damage resets or speed reduction type cards to keep you alive, which is kind of where this deck wants to win is turn 4 to 5. You can probably win as early as 3 if you get 2 good build turns out of it. But you're probably aiming for turn 3, 4 to close out the game, or turn 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 3 is probably the earliest.
To avenge a loved one, craps all over Devastator Cannon. I can't even speak tonight either. Yeah, the big Spike 2 attack that starts off at 9 damage instantly, so you could drop it right. That doesn't scare you at all. So it's just like, okay, right. 0. Yeah,
and if your opponent doesn't have a way to reset to their printed, they have to climb their way back up from 0. So a lot of times people are like, oh, cards like this, you have to wait till the very right time or they'll damage pump it. Well, in the case of something like the Devastator Cannon, it's massive already. Just set it to 0 and make them climb their way up from 0.
Yep. I'm gonna page down to the block spread real quick. So the deck is 60 cards. We got 10 non-blocks. Then we went over 18 attacks, 42 foundations. We got 21 high blocks, 11 mids, and 18 lows because we cover all. Because no one throws mid attacks other than people that play Coffee Samba and Cats. So and then you can just damage reset them. But I think that overall, I think the deck looks really fun to play. Personally, I may try this out after we get back from Indy. Just to play around, because I know the guys they're testing for Omaha, but I think the first week back I may play this because I haven't played Chun-Li yet ever. So and she comes foil already. I don't have to get one from World, so that's good. So
she's a blast. I played her at we did a sealed event for the release of Street Fighter in Schaumburg. That I was kind of watching over, and when that was over, I actually got some games in with the Chun-Li deck, and right out of the box, already pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I mean, acquiring this stuff, it's a handful, 3, like I said, 3 rares, and everything else comes from either a starter deck or is very accessible from either Platinum or Street Fighter.
Yep, correct.
Readily available sets. They're not out of print. They're not hard to get.
One thing is, say someone wanted to take this to like a PTC, do you have a couple cards they may keep in mind, maybe to add into this deck? I already have one in mind already, but I want to see if you have anything on the top of your head that you could suggest.
Yeah, I left assets and action out of this deck for simplicity's sake because the nature of this was to take a turbo deck and upgrade it.
Yep.
And I feel like when people are learning the game, unless they grasp it really, really well from the beginning, assets and actions kind of confuse people. So I left them off. But one really good action that has kind of stopped seeing play as far as I'm aware is dodge.
Yeah,
dodge is really good.
I think it's because of a lot of the punch-and... People are afraid of the punch and Judy. If you do it against a punch and Judy deck or whatever, they're going to have Out of Your League in their hand, so you're burning cost and then you're taking damage on it because it's after the block step. But I think against decks that... I think that in a tournament format like a PTC or whatever, I think you would probably play a couple dodge at least, just because not everyone's going to be running Out of Your League anyways. So I think that may be that. I think that's warranted. I would actually suggest a couple copies of Air Tiki, which makes her kick attack gets +1 speed, any speed pump +1, and then it has a really good reaction where you can set speeds back to printed too. So
and that was one of the other cards that fits in the action asset slot. Was Air Tiki. Just it essentially doubles the efficacy of Chun-Li's top enhance. And turns 1 speed into 2 speed, so she's much more dangerous that way. And even though your opponent benefits from that, you get the free speed reset. Which is gravy in my book.
Oh yeah, because on asset speed hate is a lot harder to deal with than foundation speed hate, in my opinion.
Yeah. Again, just watching the game and the meta as of recent, there's been very few decks that are really reliant or really heavily involved with assets, aside from the good decks playing Graven Castle to cheat stuff in. But I think due to that, people kind of stopped removing asset hate.
Yeah.
So they're not playing spine sweeps as much. They're, for the most part, not playing homemade explosives really anymore.
Punch
There's
and
just other
Judy.
cards that
I
they'd
think
rather
I
have.
think Punch and Judy's play that. Like the fire symbol will play that because if they're playing Punch and Judy, White House is their main is their like kryptonite. They have to get rid of White House, so they're most
Right.
likely going to play those at least. But you're right. One thing I did miss at Worlds was some type of asset hate, and then I was talking to Rob, my co-host on the Guile treatment. Defenders of the Empire actually works really well with Yamato Man because when I go to commit I'm attacking, I commit a foundation, I can respond and commit like a swordfish or a graven castle or
Hmm.
something like that. And then even Air Tiki can be Graven Castle hate because they're both terrains, so it will destroy the Graven Castle. So you don't even have to worry about packing any type of real act like other than actually playing the asset hate.
Yeah, I actually forgot to mention that because I didn't put it in the cyber or anything. But yeah, since it is a terrain, it's gonna just by nature of the terrain keyword
Yep.
hate on other assets,
Yeah, which is
or
pretty good.
other terrains, which is
Which
nice.
is awesome. All right, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and going through this deck. I think hopefully the goal is to get newer players more acclimated to like a tournament to get them ready for locals, basically, because no one wants to go into a local environment and just get their brains beat in all the time. Especially if they're walking into like say like our locals where everyone plays like stuff. We're always trying to prep for like the next PTC or whatever, and then Rockford's in 2 months, so everyone's ready. Everyone's gearing up for that. So, but I
Can't
appreciate
wait
it.
for Beer FS.
Yeah, beer fest. Yeah, there we go. So I want to say thanks again, and I'm gonna page over again over here and say, maybe when Mortal Kombat comes out, I may have you use Scorpion or Sub Zero. So maybe
Yeah,
maybe we can just do both of them. We can just tag team them. You'll do one, I do the other in the same show. We'll figure it out. So I'll keep in touch, and then so everyone, thanks again for watching, and everyone have a good night.
bye bye.